If you're going to Milos, for sure you're gonna go on a boat tour around the island, since that's what Milos is so famous for. Incredible rock formations, crystal clear waters, massive sea caves, and super vibrant cliffs. And there's two ways to do this. Either you go on a full day sailboat tour, or you go on a half day speedboat tour. And so in this video, I'm going to show what each tour looks like, and I'm going to leave the links to book both of them down below. Let's start with the sailboat cruise. The tour starts at 8:30 in Adamas, so the port of Milos, where you will be brought to your ship. Shortly after exiting the port, you'll pass by the very iconic Klima fishing village with all its colorful boathouses. Next, you'll reach the Sailboat area with its famous white landscape. This is also a famous cliff jumping spot. Sailboat is an amazing place, by the way. So apart from this boat tour, I highly recommend you go and visit it on foot at some point as well. And somewhere there near the cliff jumping spot, you're gonna have your first stop of the day. The boat will drop the anchor and you will have 45 minutes to swim and snorkel around the boat. And the big highlight there is this gigantic sea cave that you can swim all the way through. I've swum in tons of sea caves all over Greece. This is by far the largest and most impressive one I've ever seen. And just next to the main cave, there's another smaller one, which was also really cool to explore. So you hop back on the boat. Breakfast is going to be served at this point, which is around 10:30, which means have a tiny breakfast in the morning at your hotel because you do not want to be on an empty stomach all the way until 10:30. You will sail by the tiny Glaronisia Islands, which are a great example of something called columnar jointing, which is this very unique rock pattern that forms when hot lava cools rapidly. If you've ever visited the Giant's Causeway in Ireland, you know exactly what I'm talking about. And then at this point, you're gonna leave Milos and sail towards Polyaigos, which is a nearby uninhabited island, famous for having the clearest waters in all of Greece. You're gonna have 1 hour to swim around, and trust me, you are gonna freak out with how transparent this water is. Greece has amazing visibility in the water anywhere you snorkel, but this right here, this is on a whole other level. All right, time to leave Polyaigos and start heading to Milos's south coast. The south coast is where you have all these super vibrant colors on the cliffs. Don't forget that Milos is a volcano, and so these colors are the result of ancient eruptions that covered Milos in layers of iron, sulfur, and many more minerals, giving these amazing hues to the landscape. And somewhere there, you'll have the third stop of the day at Yerakas Beach, one of the most impressive beaches in Milos because of the size of the cliffs surrounding it and because of its white sand, which makes the water look so beautiful. I know I keep saying for each stop that the water is the most amazing you've ever seen, but what can I say? Milos and Polyaigos are unbeatable in that regard. And it's there by Yerakas Beach and its turquoise waters that lunch will be served. Everything grilled on board. It was very, very tasty. And then the fourth and last stop of the day is going to be at Kleftiko, which is without a doubt the most iconic spot in all of Milos. It's this bay full of huge arches that you can sail under, but of course you can't sail through them with a big sailboat, so you're gonna have to hop on a tiny dinghy, and this was the highlight of the entire tour for me. Going through all these narrow caves is so much fun, and it's not something you find that easily in Greece. Caves are usually too narrow for any boat to enter, even a dinghy, but here in Milos you can do all of this on a boat and feel like a true pirate. And actually the word Kleftiko comes from Kleftis, the thief, because this was where the thieves, so the pirates, were hiding from patrols and were using as a base to attack merchant ships that were passing by. So yeah, this was a true pirate hideout. And then by the time you're back on the main ship, the sun is already about to set, and so you head back to the starting point, which you will reach around 7 p.m. and that's the end of the tour. So if we have a look at the map, the 4 main stops are Sarakiniko with its huge caves, the island of Polyaigos, the white beach of Yerakas, and finally Kleftiko. So you're basically doing the entire loop around the island. Now, it's a fantastic tour, and this is the one I recommend you book, but not everyone wants to spend 10 hours on a boat, whether it's because of motion sickness or just because you have other things to do. In this case, the speedboat tour is an excellent alternative. Now, either the speedboat brings you to Kleftiko, the Sikian Cave and Kalogries Beach, or you're going to Kleftiko, Yerakas Beach and the Tsidrado Caves. On a non-windy day, it will be the first one. On a windy day, which is 50% of the time, it will be the second one. And that's the one I had when I joined the tour, which I'm going to briefly show you now. So we started with Kleftiko, where I went for a little swim with my super sexy swimming cap. Then we had another swimming stop in a little bay next to Yerakas. You could actually feel with your feet that the rocks at the bottom were very, very hot there, which is of course due to the volcanic activity. The third stop was a half-an-hour snorkeling guided tour. So we all got equipped with masks and fins and then headed to this arch there in the back. Super cool experience, and of course the water was more beautiful than ever. And throughout the tour you'll pass by all sorts of super impressive sceneries, whether that's these typical white landscapes or on the contrary beaches with super vivid colors. And the great thing obviously about a speedboat is that it goes very fast, and so you get to cover so much ground in just half a day. So yeah, to book any of these 2 tours, you can scan these QR codes, or the links are down below as well. I would personally go for the sailboat one, but if you're on a tight schedule, then the speedboat is probably the better option. And as always, if you see multiple tours appear after you click on the link, the first one in the list is the one I'm talking about. And a big shout out to Get Your Guide, which is the sponsor of this video. All these amazing tours I keep showing on my YouTube channel, whether that's in Milos, in Athens, in Santorini, all of this can be found on Get Your Guide. And that's the beauty of it. You don't have to jump from one website to the other in order to book everything you want to do in Greece. All experiences are centralized there on Get Your Guide. It's clear, it's user-friendly, it's in English. The cancellation policy is the same for every tour, meaning you can cancel for free up to 24 hours before the start. And there's a 24/7 customer support in case you have questions. I traveled through Thailand and Vietnam last year, and it was so convenient to be able to book everything in one single place. So yeah, to the people at Get Your Guide, don't change anything. You're awesome. All right, for all the other things you can do in Milos, you can watch this video. And if you're not sure where you should be staying on the island, you can watch this one. And there you go. That's it for today. Hope you liked it. See you in the next one. Bye.